Welcome to another episode of SyncRiffs. Thank you for joining us. My name's Charles from Blue Buddha, where each week we riff about syncs, the state of the music biz, and today, uber stoked to introduce a special guest that we have in the studio. Joining us, Blue Buddha indie artist Simon Short from the Jackknives. How's it going, Simon?
It's going good, man. Thanks for having me. It's rad to be here.
No, thank you. It's going to be a great chat because today was the release of your new single, Are You Listening? And a little backstory on Simon and the band. Correct. You guys were formed in 2019 through the pandemic. You were in Hawaii and now you're in Anaheim. So that kind of sets the stage. If you can walk us through how did you guys make it to the mainland, so to speak? And your sound has changed, and you have a new producer on board with the new track.
Yeah, definitely. So it's kind of a confused. I think the way our bio is written, every interview we've been in, people think that the whole band was in Hawaii. It was just me in Hawaii. The band started as a project called Cy Short and the Jackknives. That's me. And the Jackknives were nobody originally. It was literally just me. And then we thought that my idea was to just have a revolving cast, right? I thought I was permanently in Hawaii at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so that I started just writing down ideas, recorded some things in the room as Cy Short and the Jackknives, and put it out independently. And it got a pretty good response. Nothing crazy, but decent enough to keep going. And then, a couple years later, a year and a half later, circumstances changed. So I ended up back in California.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, let's just make this a real band. It doesn't need to be revolving. It doesn't need to have my first name in the title, because that kind of freaked me out a bit for some reason. No shade against anyone that uses their first and last names or whatever. I'm just like, it's kind of whatever, so let's just make it the Jackknives and make it a full band. And the other guys came on board, and so we're based out of Orange County, and it's way easier here in California to be a alt rock or punk rock or whatever you want to call us artist than it is in Hawaii.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's amazing because I can hear the influences on, you guys give shout outs and musical influences from everything from Bob Dylan, the Pogues, to the Beastie Boys. And your first single, Are You Listening, produced the same producer who produced Green Day and No Effects.
Yeah, he produced the last No Effects album. His name's Riff, Raul Cuellar. I think I said that right. Riff. He's one of the, in my opinion, one of the biggest up and coming kind of producers in that like heavier rock world, I guess, punk rock or whatever. And don't think he produced the Green Day albums, but he worked on them as he was coming up. And he's worked with Papa Roach. He's worked with, like I said, the last No Effects album, and a bunch of big names. And he has this incredible studio in Burbank. So we two of the Jackknives live in San Diego, and the other two, me and Gerardo, live in Orange County. So we make the trek to Burbank and spend the day up there. And it's a good family vibe. And there's a guy called Nick Riggs, who's part of that crew as well, and he's assistant producer and producing some of the tracks too. We consider ourselves an amateur band, or independent band is a better way to put it, and kind of newish to this world. So working with somebody like that has just driven us into fifth gear and made us sound 100 times better. And it's really interesting to work with a team and build songs, people outside the band especially.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you're on the right path, because how we connected, thanks to social media, IG, and I previously did working at Blue Buddha and now on the SyncRiffs side as well. I've been in the industry, but your sound, the production, and the video, which we'll share so everyone can check it. But in my humble opinion, same on the sync side. Really stoked to be able to work with you and see what's in store. But correct, this video we're gonna share was also produced by Riff.
The song was Riff's production assistant was Nick Riggs, and then the whole video was Nick Riggs.
Okay.
I think the company's called Champion Heart Media, and that guy, I mean, the such high level of production. We were stoked on this video.
Yeah, no. Everyone listening and viewing are going to be hitting that play and repeat because now I was just going to ask where was the the setting for it? Was it was that the studio?
No, that was filmed in a warehouse
Yeah.
in Commerce, kind of city of industry area down there. And if you down there, there's half of those warehouses are like steel mills or whatever, and the other half are video sets for film shoots and
Oh.
everything. Yeah, and it's just
Hmm.
like everything else now. You can go on an app and see this just crazy world of places you can rent to shoot photographs or videos or whatever.
Mhm.
Again, this is all new to us, but we went down the list. Like, that place looks kind of cool for
Yeah.
what we're going for. So yeah, off we went for the day.
Yeah, amazing. Well, without further ado, I'll cue the track of the video and then we'll talk on the other side. And the new single from the Jackknives, Are You Listening?
I know you got bodies down in that basement. Do you carry the weight and the pain of changing? Those ghosts in your eyes, they were never pretending. Those ghosts in your alibi are gonna need replacing. Is it time to open up your eyes? 'Cause I got time on my hands, the devil make plans, bringing you down, be a pleasure for now. You're listening, you better be listening. Are you up all night thinking about escaping? Or do your spellbound lies keep your hands from shaking? Does the blood on your teeth bring back all you wasted? Or you hide in the shadows of the hearts you're breaking? 'Cause I got time on my hands, the devil made plans, bringing you down. I'll be a pleasure for now. You're listening, you better be listening. Yeah, those dark days, are they getting in the way? You got reasons to go, I got reasons to stay. Are you listening? You better be listening.
All right, cool. A little teaser so everyone can go check out the full length. Very nice.
Yeah, it's cool. It's kind of hard to take yourself seriously when you look at it, but it looks rad. Yeah, I love that.
No, amazing. I'm just going to stop the share. Let's see. Yeah, because correct. You must have. Now, the single just came out today. Now, to set up and film the video must have, it was a big endeavor. Like, when did you guys shoot that? And yeah.
Yeah, it was. I want to say 5 or 6 weeks ago we shot that.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Nick works quickly for us he did, and it was ready pretty quick. But we had put the release date pretty far out, because we only just released a record 3 months ago, so we're moving on pretty quickly from that. But yeah, we shot the video, and it was a really hot day. One of the only hot days, a couple months back.
Uh-huh.
And in that warehouse was like 85, 90 degrees. And
Mm.
like I said, we're kind of new to this higher level of the industry where we're making videos and working with producers. So it's all a learning curve for us, but it's awesome. So we were there, like there was a big crew of 9-10 people, and, guys coming up. We weren't allowed to move from where you see us playing. We had an X, and for anyone in the industry, they're probably like, well, yeah. But for us, this is new, right? So there's an X on the ground. We stand there. You're not allowed to move for 5 hours. While they take all these scenes and shots and everything, and someone's coming, you need water, here's water, or whatever, and it was sweating, but I mean, it wasn't that bad. We were allowed to go to the toilet if we needed to or whatever, but it was rad, and the finished article was stoked with. That song is probably one of the heavier ones because we're heavy-ish band, but we're kind of poppy as well, pop kind of sensibility in our music, and we play acoustic tunes, we play more relaxed rock and roll as well, but our roots are in punk rock, so we have a couple of heavier songs too. That's one of them.
Amazing. And because your influences, because I know, correct, and when we had spoken a while back, born in the UK, so
yeah,
the punk scene and so yeah, who were some of those early influences?
So I'm of an age and grew up the first 22 years of my life in England. So my eldest sister was into music a lot, so I was just a young kid looking up to her. But at that time, the mid-90s was Britpop, right? That was probably the first big music scene that I witnessed and got into and stole my sister's CDs, so Oasis and those kind of bands. So yeah, that was probably my first. And then punk rock, I didn't come in to what you might think like British punk rock or any of that. I didn't really like that much at the time. It was the American, the 94, 95 where Green Day blew up and all that. That's where I heard punk rock for the first time. So that was my dive into that world. And then as I got older and listened to anything and everything, and then I found older British punk bands and rock bands like the Clash or whatever. But I listened to all kinds of music. But yeah, British. I came up in a household that my mum would play soul music every Sunday, and so I have a love for melody and good, meaningful lyrics is my thing. Like it could be any genre, I like Taylor Swift, so because she got great lyrics and melodies, right? So that's what it's about.
No, and that's a good thread that needle. Correct with "Are You Listening?" It's a metaphor for a relationship.
Kind of. No, actually, no, it isn't. So I think a good song or good lyrics are lyrics that can be interpreted in a lot of different ways by anyone. So anyone can listen. You can listen to the song and it can hit you like this is about a relationship. I relate to that. Or somebody else could listen to it and go, this is about that or that. And if you feel it, right? And that's how you connect with any song. The song is actually about not accountability, really. It's about somebody who's not really directly linked to me, but indirectly linked to me. But it's one of those people that just tells lies and cheats their way through life, right? And I know, and it's just like, oh man, like all these people are falling for this, but I'm not. And why can't other people see it? That's what the song, when I wrote it, was really about. It's about you should be accountable, and know that you're not fooling everybody. But then, like I said, I went into the studio to sing it, and Riff, when I was doing the vocals, was like, you need to give me some emotion. This song's about betrayal. Come on. And I'm thinking in my head, it's not about betrayal at all, but I can see that. So yeah, the song is really, I think, the lyrics are you listening? You better be listening. It's more, that's kind of like I see you, and I see what you're up to kind of thing. That's what the song is about. But I think it could be interpreted in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, no, because reading up on, because with betrayal, and then that the line where you talk about, I know you've got bodies in the basements, so that could be spinning it where lies or whatever you're hiding.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly it. That line is really about I know your secrets. I see through
Yeah.
you. I know, yeah. So it's I try to write lyrics that aren't obvious as well. And some people might think my lyrics are terrible, but I really try my hardest just to like not write obvious lyrics. I like to write really metaphorical lyrics in a way.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because, similarly, I've talked it on past podcasts where, that line from that opening of your track, that could set it up where if there was a horror scene and then someone's going in the basement, he's about to, so it could work there. But then,
Yeah,
like you said, as the song progresses, the storyline can take a different path and a different turn. So that's what's great about that.
yeah. It's definitely a song that makes you pay attention. I think from the get go, right? That was so it's yeah, it's a good one. That was the first one we recorded with Riff. There's two on the new record that this is leading up to. That there's two songs that are kind of on the heavy side like that, and then some of the more middle ground ones too.
Okay. And so that's a good segue when it comes to live performances. It sounds like, correct, we touched briefly on it in a conversation. You guys will mix it up between the higher tempo, and then will you do stripped down acoustic mixes in live? It just kind of depends.
Yeah. I really like playing acoustic. Every song I write pretty much starts on acoustic. Some of them, once they become built out, don't tend to translate back as well, but they all start in this room on an acoustic guitar, every single one. So I like playing acoustic, and I don't want all the songs to be able to be stripped back. And sometimes when we rehearse, we'll turn all the distortion off and play clean, really stripped down versions of the song, just because sometimes if everything's distorted and it's all high level, whatever punk rock, then you don't really know how good you are in a way, or how bad you are, right? So when you strip it down, you can be like, oh, okay, well that doesn't, we need to, you find out how tight you are when it's a little cleaner, I think. So
Yeah, well said. And then correct, as far as the songwriting goes, with the newer material, is there, I can't recall, as far as co-writes with one of the bandmates, or is it pretty much, what's the origin when you guys craft a song?
The typical way is, I guess I'm the primary songwriter in the band, so I'll write the idea, and then I'll record it here in my little home studio, just a real basic demo, and then I'll take it to the band, and they'll be, well, that's good, or that's not good, and then we'll take it live to rehearsal and kind of put our own version of it with their input, right? So the bass player, the drummer will say, I want to play this instead of, because all I'm doing is putting a basic drum track in. So Hugo will write a better drum track in rehearsal, and once we got a basic idea, and then we send that demo, at least for this record that we're making now, we send that demo to Riff, and then they do a pre-production of it, and then they send it back and say, well, maybe we could change, which is really hard for me in the beginning to be like, oh, okay, they want to change it, they want to drop that, they might change it pretty drastically sometimes. The root of the song is always there, the lyrics never change, the expression of the song is always there, but the structure, because these guys know how to write or know how to produce a good rock song, right? So and we trust them and they trust us. And the first time it was like, I think I read about it, actually I Googled it, because they call it demo-itis, right? So you send off a demo which you've been playing and listening to, and then you get back this kind of other version, and you're like, no, I want my original version, and you have to get over that. But as we've gone on, we hear it, what they send, and we're, oh yeah, we love that, let's do this, and then we'll still put our input in as we build it as a team now, and they've learned us a lot more as well, right? So they know, we're definitely not the most technical musicians in the world. We're all self-taught, and we stand by our songs, right? Our songs have good melodies, hooks, and at least I think they're meaningful and honest and relatable. So that's what we go for, and then they'll structure it, and they have little tricks, like they'll split a chorus in half, so you just give half the chorus at the beginning, and then the second time it's the full chorus. And I'm like, oh, that's cool, I've never thought of that. And they're like, yeah, it's a secret, which I've just told on a podcast. But yeah, it's a really cool learning experience working with a team. And you can't have an ego. You can't be like, this is my song or anything like that, right? You definitely have to, and they respect it massively. Like I said, they don't change the lyrics or the expression of the song. It's just about building a sonically pleasing piece of art.
Yes, and that's a great thread, Simon, or through line to tie into. It came up on one of my reels, and I don't know if you had seen this, but I think about 3 or maybe the last 6 months, Damon Albarn of Blur did a Did you see the podcast he did with Apple Music?
I haven't. No.
Okay, brilliant. I'll send it to you. So basically, there's a little excerpt that reveals when for the song Clint Eastwood with the Gorillaz, that he basically had, it was equivalent to like an old Casio keyboard. It was another Japanese brand. I'll pull it up, put it in the notes. But it's called Rock. It was a preset. The beginning of that, and you just hit that note for note. And someone had shared that, and basically it was like, this is like old tech AI. And keyboard form. But I think the thread though is like what you said is you could take a preset, but it's what you do with it. Your producer, and then they made it brilliant in that track and how they produced it. And then I think there was like, he would blow through, there's this instrument that sounded like the good, bad, and ugly Western vibe. So anyways, that's the big...
It's so true. Like, and you have, so I listen to our older stuff now, and essentially what they are demos. They're the demos that I would have sent to Riff if we were working with them right back then, right? So I'm like, I wonder what that would have sounded like if we had sent it to him. No, I love most of those songs, not all of them. And also that proves a point to me as well, that those first 2 records we put out, super low quality, right, compared to what we're doing now. We didn't know what we were doing with our little tiny recording equipment or anything, but it still built us an audience of friends and fans, because the songs were good, because the melody, not to sound big-headed, but this, I believe in our songs, and they were good songs. So the production wasn't there, but the songs were there. So it's interesting. And then building new songs is just, it's fascinating.
For sure, 100%. I was just pulling up, Kill Me First and 805. I was really digging, and I think that supports at the heart and structure of it. Even those tracks, there were, the song, the sonic sound, and the messaging. So I was feeling those, even though, like you said, it would be interesting. Like, are any of those, so obviously going forward with the new project, brand new tracks that Riff is going to produce, you're not going to take any older tracks?
No, we do discuss that a lot. The record before that one, the very first one I put out in Hawaii, that has one song, 2 songs on it, one in particular called Are You Alright, which is still probably our second most played song as well. So we think about that, but then why? I think a lot of the bands I listen to, if you listen to the early stuff, it is lesser quality. But that was back then. There's no excuse now. You should have high quality music all the time, I guess. But
for sure,
whatever. We're old school.
Yeah, no, and I was gonna just share. I'm gonna share your website, and then we'll put your website and all the info on the socials in the link. But love the branding and the. So let me just see. This was
That's the last record that
oh,
just well, I'd say the last, like, that's a new record really. That's the one that came out in February this year. For the lovers, for the fighters. That's what Kill Me First and 805 is on that record.
mm,
Um, yeah, that's what made us go into the studio with Riff and move forward with this project even further, because we put it out and they got 15,000 streams in a couple of weeks. So for us, that blew our minds. Again, that might not be a lot for some people listening, but for us, that was a big deal, and we just want to keep growing and pushing it. So
yeah, no. I love who was the artist for the artwork? Anyone in particular?
I'm gonna be embarrassed to say I can't remember her name.
No
But
worries, no worries. That's the end
we
of the spot.
found her, the positive side of social media, right? We found her through social media, and I love that artwork too. We sold out. We had a pressing of vinyls, 12-inch vinyls of that record, and they're sold out now. But that was it looks great, on a vinyl record.
Yeah. Speaking of merch, so I just went, yeah, that's brilliant. So the vinyl's out, sold out rather. Very cool. And you got all your branding, your t-shirts, and that's wicked. And hoodies. So yeah, we'll share. So yeah, the vinyl. Any plans for vinyl for the new singles?
Yeah, definitely. So the new one, we're gonna release it again. So I was in a semi-professional band over a decade ago, and then nothing until this band now. And the music industry is, as you know, has changed so much. It's crazy. So we're just trying to figure it out. So this one, we're going to do a more streaming friendly delivery of the music. So we're building the new record single by single. So everything will come out digitally,
Yep.
song by song. And then once the album's there, there'll be a vinyl release of that full record and that's called Ghost Radio. The collection of the singles is going to be called Ghost Radio. So that's what we're trying with this one.
Very nice. And correct when we spoke, so Ghost Radio, the plan is to release that in the fall of this year.
Yeah, that would be the goal. I think we're on track for that. So yeah, we'll go single. The next single. So Are You Listening just came out today. The video came out yesterday. The song came out today on the streaming services. So I think the second week of July will be the next single.
Cool.
And then so on and so forth. I think it'll be 4 singles and then, or 5 singles and then the full drop of the record.
Man, wow. It's going to be a busy summer. And similarly, is it tour dates? Is there one called the Cali Rally or something in August?
Yeah, the Cali Rally. It's just a run of dates around California. So it's San Francisco all the way through to San Diego with LA and Orange County in there and everything. So it's only 6 dates, I think, 5 or 6 dates, but it's a quick blast through with an artist called Danny Attack, who's a really talented kind of folk punk guy. Really cool songs. And then another guy from Whittier, I think, called Rudy Nuno. He's another kind of punk but in the same way like as us, which is more, if punk rock for over 30s. That's what I like to call our music. So yeah, so we're going out with those guys, and then there's a bunch of other bands hopping on the different shows. So that's gonna be fun. I don't think we got any shows up until then in August. So
Very cool, very cool. And then obviously, too soon to say, but the culmination in the fall, obviously, once that's set in stone with the EP, as far as record release, you would play locally.
Yeah, my crazy idea for this is 2 record release shows, one here and one on the East Coast, because most of our listeners are on the East Coast for some reason. So yeah, that's my big plan, to have two record release shows, one in California and then one in New York or New Jersey somewhere.
Yeah, and now correct me if I'm wrong, Simon. Did you live in New Jersey for a minute? Were you on the East Coast at one point?
No.
Okay.
I've been there, and I love it. But yeah, and I'm heavily influenced, I guess, by that style of punk rock more than the West Coast, like Cali skate punk. I like more the East Coast sound. So yeah, but never lived there.
Very
Just
got
England.
it. Sure. Now, for our listeners, so they can check it on your first, which track that was sort of paying homage to the Beastie Boys. It was, yeah.
Yeah, that ties in with the East Coast. That song's called New York City. So
Okay.
yeah, that's a fun track. It's a live recording of it, but it's a good song. And the lyrics, I tried to drop as many references to songs about New York in my song about New York. So of course the Beastie Boys have a million songs about New York, but there's one. The Pogues have a song about New York. Bob Dylan. I can't remember who else I put in there, but there's a lot of references to other artists in that song. But yeah, so that was a homage to one of my favorite cities in the world.
Sure. No, and one of I'm sure equally, when I was at Capitol in the '90s, the Beastie Boys, they would come for meetings at the tower, the Capitol Tower, and they up on the rooftop. If I'm sure it must still be there, but it was might have been Mike D or one of they tagged their name up on the roof, and
That is cool.
yeah, a lot of
Yeah, that's
history.
pretty rad.
Yeah, big time. But no, man, I'm really stoked to be able to chat today, and we'll post links to where folks can correct Bandcamp or right now Spotify, all the.
Yeah, all of them. I'm not sure if we have a Bandcamp. We might, but every Spotify, Apple, all of that. The best place to go is just old school. Go to the jackknives.com and you have a link from there to go wherever you want. Like, YouTube, Spotify, all that stuff. We're big on Instagram. It's probably our most active socials. We tried to have a TikTok, but I think we're too old. I think we're too old for that.
No, I'm with you. Too many social platforms to chase.
Yeah.
But no, man. Really appreciate you taking the time out and also playing the acoustic track, and then we'll post up to the video, and then correct. So you said on the closing note, the second single is going to be in July.
Yeah, the next one is called San Juan Radio Blues. That'll be out in July. We're gonna try and do a monthly single if we can right now, as we go forward. But yeah, thanks for having me on. Like this podcast that I was listening to before we connected. Sync is something that I've been interested in and looking at for a long time, but it's kind of complicated, or it comes across complicated and confusing. It's like, wait, what? And your podcast was awesome, dude, to just explain everything. There's first 3 or 4 episodes where you just laid it all out. It's like, it makes sense now. So to work with you is a pleasure as well, and we're really happy that we're connected for sure.
Thank you so much, Simon, and shout out to your band members. Can't wait. We'll have to do a follow up, get everybody in, and maybe continue the chat. But I really appreciate you, Simon.
Yeah, thanks, man. I really appreciate it, and be good. Have a good evening.
Yeah, likewise. Hang tight after we stop here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Smash that like button and future notifications on SyncRiffs. And thank you again to Simon. And we'll catch you on the side. Namaste, and see you next week. Thanks, guys.
Go.